Beth, I'm so excited to be here. And I too am and one of your fans, for you have done so much that I admire. And I was just actually telling you before we came on camera, one of the things that I love the most about you is your appreciation of the ocean,
Yes.
and that you're a surfer girl. And that was one of the reasons why I went all the way halfway across the country when I was only 23 to California,
Mhm.
having known nobody there, because I wanted to learn how to surf. I
Yeah.
wanted to be a surfer girl, having grown up in the cornfields of Illinois, little teeny tiny small town. And I always had this, oh, I want to be out in the California surf and so forth. And you have lived that life. And when you speak about manifesting and learning how to manifest what you love, that is exciting to me. So when your question, first of all, thank you again, Beth, for inviting me to be with you on such an important show, manifesting what you love. That's all we really want. Should be wanting to manifest. I think that we often manifest things that we don't want,
Yes.
things that we love less than we prefer not to have them in our lives. The idea that we can actually bring a higher intention. I love that word that you mentioned, an
Mm.
intention, not only to listen with inspiration
Mhm.
in mind, but also listening for that one piece that is going to be the one thing that gets us going in the morning. I really feel in tune with that. So to answer your question, who am I? Lynn Kitchen is my name, but I am a spiritual being
Mhm.
having a grand experience on this thing called Earth, some of which has been, I've manifested some really good magic in my life, and other things I've manifested that hasn't been so fun, like all of us. But I think that what I have in common with you, Beth, and with everyone of your audience is that we strive to be better, to manifest ourselves in our spirit, our true spiritual nature,
Yes.
so that we really can be the authentic people from the inside out. And
Absolutely.
that's taken me quite a few years to understand that that's possible.
Yes, yes. I believe too that we're here for the expansion of our souls, right?
Excellent.
And yes, that's so important to understand that. And it's not about necessarily manifesting the things. I think we can agree that it's understanding who we are as a spiritual being and living the journey. They say the joy is in the journey.
The
But it,
joy is in the journey.
but it is, it sounds so corny, but when you can find and you can discover who you really are, and you find that joy and that unconditional love for yourself, then the manifesting starts happening. Don't you find that to be true?
I do find that to be true. And I'd like to use the analogy of your surfing expertise, because when you move out into the unknown, it's kind of like surfing. That is a journey, as you mentioned. The word journey is really important, because you must go out and not really know what to expect in a particular day. You look at the conditions, you see the waves, you make some judgments, you make some calibrations to say, okay, yeah, this looks good. I'm going to move in this direction. This is my goal. You have an idea, you have an intention. For the sake of what? You have the idea, or for the sake of what am I even doing this? And you know what that is, that feeling like, oh, I want it to be for the sake of the joy of that ride in on top of the wave, where you're on this little plank of a piece of wood, or what they call a surfboard, right? And you are in balance.
Right.
It's your ride. It's your beautiful moment in balance with nature and with that forward motion. And just, and it's all working out. And it's for the sake of that beautiful, joyful experience. I kind of think that falling in love with someone in life is kind of the same way. We can compare, therefore, we can compare relationships or people that we do fall in love with. It's a journey. you make those kinds of distinctions. Those of you who are wanting to manifest someone in your life to love, it's kind of the same thing. I kind of have this philosophy that it's the same. If it's true here, it's going to be true here, 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 and here. So I do believe that it's the same in manifesting a job or a career path that you would really love. In other words, it's a relationship with the idea of what would I love.
Yes, I totally agree. It is, I loved your example of my surfing, because it is, for me, what I had to understand, because when you take this spiritual knowledge and apply it to something as simple as surfing, I actually did that. And what I did was I asked myself, what do I really love about surfing? Because I'm telling you, it can be very competitive, and you
I'm
can get in
sure.
your head, like with any sport, right? And so for me, I thought, I want to be in joy and have fun when I'm surfing. That's what I want to do. So that was my intention. And from that, I had to take myself away from all of the competitiveness. Why is that person getting more waves than I am? And, it's like with any sport, there's competition. So I had to consciously say, I'm not competing, I am creating. And so now when I go out, I actually ask God, Spirit, Universe, and I'm feeling the energy. I know that I can powerfully create a wave where I'm at. I don't have to sit where everybody else is. I can sit anywhere, and that wave is going to come. And you're right. When I am standing on the surfboard, on the wave, feeling and harnessing that power, that is my joy. Like, I don't care if it's a 2-foot wave. If I'm standing up and I've harnessed and I've created this experience, I am literally in heaven. So yes, that is a great analogy.
It is a great analogy, and that also that forward motion. I do experience that. I went on a bicycle ride this morning. Well, I live in Western Florida now, and there are no waves. It's like a lake, and the Gulf of Mexico is like a lake. I so miss the waves of Southern California, because that is where I went to. When I was 23 years old, I went to Huntington Beach to learn how to surf. And I didn't know anybody, had no clue how to surf. Today, I'm on Western Florida where there are no waves, and I do miss it. But I remember that forward motion once you do catch a wave, which I rarely did, but I actually became a pretty good body surfer in spite of myself. But that forward motion, this morning I was on a bicycle ride. And again, appreciating the forward motion, the beauty, the symmetry, the possibility to just appreciate nature and that I'm alive. And just taking that moment of creating, like you said, that oneness with nature and the ability to be and create a moment of pleasure for myself. Well, that is really not necessarily the central part of what we intended to speak about today, but what if it really is the center of anything that we want to manifest in our lives? Something certainly that we love. We want to manifest love. And love is an energy, I think of the spirit, it's a spiritual energy of appreciation. And inside that begets relationships, it begets abundance, it begets satisfaction, it begets connection, and all of the juicy good things in life that we really are wanting to become masters at. To create the kind of life that we want, to have the dreams that are just somehow coming to us and through us, to have the kind of money and choices and freedoms that we want to have, to have the impact in the world that we want to have, and so forth. And all these things are something that we do get to create. And that's why I'm so happy to be invited to be on your show, because you have served so many people with that concept, not only through your spiritual teachings. I know you used to be a money mentor and an investment advisor to people, and also a hypnotherapist. In many ways, you've been serving people on so many aspects, like all the different parts of a diamond that people can relate, because, you know, certain aspects of you they relate with. And so, you know, that's part of what you're doing in the world, which I admire.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Well, I want to go back to your bike ride for a minute, because what that brought up for me is that the power of being in now, the power of being in the present. And really, that's where we create from. It doesn't matter if it's a appreciation being on a beautiful bike ride, because you chose to take that bike ride. You chose to live in that area, right? So we do create our own reality, but taking the moment and being, I honestly believe that, and this is one of the things that I teach, is that we must become aware of our present now, where we're at right now, what we're thinking and feeling, and owning that now, and taking the time out to be. Most people are so busy doing, they're not being a human being. They're simply doing, and they're busy, and they're taking action, and they might have something that they desire, but they're doing 500 million things. Right. And so that's why I appreciated that story about your bike ride, because you were taking that time to be present. You were appreciating what was the beauty, the nature that was around you. And I think the more that we do of that, we become even more powerful creators.
Yeah, absolutely. And it sustains me. It absolutely does. And it helps to, you know, be in that place where, you know, it doesn't matter whether you're writing checks to pay bills. You know, well, we don't really write checks anymore, do we? But we get on our computer and automatically go, you know, to pay bills. But you can do it with the idea of appreciation, and just taking that moment of appreciation for anything that I have the opportunity to breathe in this moment.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, is a plus.
Yes, yes. And another thing that I truly appreciate about what you've been saying is that when we're talking about manifesting, there are simple steps, right? So it doesn't matter, and this is what I teach too. It's like, it doesn't matter if it's wanting to manifest a relationship, wanting to manifest an abundance of money, wanting to manifest good health, or a career, whatever it is. There are simple steps that we know because we've played it out, we've studied, we've had mentors that we know work no matter what it is. And sometimes people will come to me and say, oh no, you just need to teach how to manifest good health, or you just need to teach this. And for me, I don't want to pigeonhole myself that way, because I know that these steps work for whatever it is. So I love that you were mentioning all of these different areas of your life that you can manifest. And I think you would agree that there are simple steps to manifesting, but it's not always easy, because we have to do the work. You know, the work, the right. Meditating, the being in tune or tapped into who we really are as a spiritual being.
Yes.
So I would love to have you share some of those practices that you've been doing throughout your life.
Yes, the practices themselves are that I believe that one of the steps, and I don't know if it, you know, in your how you teach, but certainly the main time for me is to craft some time for myself by myself every day. And that is me time. That me time is my imagination time. And whether I give myself an assignment during that time, sometimes I do. Like, let's work on this today. You know, let's imagine a solution that I would love. So I will take a problem or maybe a perceived problem, And if not a problem, I'll take a want to. Here's something that I want to have happen. And I'll take it into my me time, and I'll just pretend like I'm playing.
Yeah.
I go back to the feeling of a child. I really bring it into a feeling of a playful child that has the ability to imagine anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I use my imagination to craft and create some scenarios. And I'll say, well, what about this and what about that? And then I start just kind of thinking and dreaming into those scenarios. And I do have a better, stronger imagination as a result.
Mm-hmm.
So as I practice that over time, I have noticed my imagination is really prolific. I mean, I can really imagine solutions for myself that several years ago, I don't think I could have.
Mm.
And a lot of that is, knowing how to ask myself empowering questions and being very conscious or attuned to when I find myself entertaining negative thoughts.
Mm.
So it's like keeping track of, not letting somebody in your front door. When I am in my me time, it's usually in my private room.
Right.
And it's like lock the front door. So you do that with your mind. I don't allow or try not to allow the negative thoughts or the negative scenarios, those projected negative scenarios. Sometimes I used to have arguments with myself, negative arguments, and sometimes imagining negative arguments with other people, my husband, or trying to. And I have stopped that by means of being aware that that is not how to manifest anything. That only manifests more worry. So by really being conscious of the thoughts that I'm entertaining, and I use the word entertaining specifically.
Okay.
Because I can just as easily entertain thoughts of newness, thoughts of what I would love, thoughts of grandeur, thoughts of enjoyment, thoughts of it all works out. What if it all works out? What would that look like? No. So to answer your question, I really have exercise and practice the art of imagination more than anything. And that works with money. It works with happiness. It works with relationships. It works with brothers and sisters and aunts and uncles and moms and dads and children. And it works.
Yes.
It also works with vacations. Like, where would I really want to go this year? I mean, it can be tangible. It can also be intangible.
Yeah. Absolutely agree. That's so funny. It brings up two things. Number one, one of my favorite Albert Einstein quotes, which I'm an Albert Einstein nerd, and he says, "Logic will take you from A to B. Imagination will take you everywhere." So I love that. It is something
he also said, I don't know if he said imagination will, but in order to have a solution, you must go to the land of solutions. So yes, we all know that solutions exist. Yeah. Where I used to trip up is spending too much time looking at the problem.
Yeah, we're taught to do that.
We're taught, but emotionally, it's an emotional habit. And it's something that I'm happy that you're teaching the opposite to that. So what is the opposite? Well, it's focusing on the solution, and moving into the land of solution is really an exercise in imagination.
Yeah.
I mean, what about innovation? Anybody can be an inventor. Anyone can have innovation. And just this year, I've decided that I'm going to, on my calendar, put in an extra hour per week or something. It's called Lynn's Innovation Hour.
Oh, nice.
Where I'm just looking at taking 1 hour of my time, blocking out everything else, and playing with innovative ideas.
Nice. I love the word playing. And I love that when you're in your me time, it's a playful experience. And you don't know this, but you may have seen my logo. It's a daisy and the leaves are kind of falling off.
Yes.
When I created that logo, it was because I remembered a time when I was probably about 7 or 8. And I can remember sitting in my front yard with the daisy, taking the leaves off. Remember, it was like a little game. He loves me, he loves me not. He loves me, he loves me not. But it's that feeling of not having a care in the world. It's that feeling of pure joy and play as a child, knowing that you could be, do, or have anything, like the future was yours. And then what happens after we're a child? We go to school, we get taught, we have to live a certain way, and you should do this and you should do that. And when I started my business, I wanted to get back to exactly that feeling of play and being able to create again, and being able to create something that I truly wanted. And that's what I wanted to bring other people back to, because I think that playful, just being and allowing yourself to dream again. It's like, why not? Why do we take everything so serious?
Yeah, that's wonderful. Where, you can, when you realize that everything changes anyway, we are in this earth suit that looks pretty unchangeable, and yet you can make all kinds of the plastic world out there shift and change. And it's like an artist. You can be an artist. It's almost like once you understand that things change anyway and that you can change, then it becomes a joy to uproot yourself and say, okay, well, what could I morph into next?
Mm-hmm.
Remember those toys called transformations?
Yes.
Those Transformers. I mean,
Transformers.
my nephews just loved Transformers. They loved playing with Transformers because it excited their imagination about how they could transform into being whatever. So I think we're onto something here, imagination. So I'd like to kind of move that into the direction of an area that we both also have some commonality in, and that is money management and money decisions and investing, if you don't mind.
Yes, that would be great. And yes, that is my background as a financial advisor. And I love that we have that commonality. What I really love is that you are coming back to your roots, and you now, I'm going to let you talk about it, but you're now teaching women about money, and not just about money and the basics, but you're teaching something that is very much needed. And I know because I was in that world, but in my heart, like, I want to teach about manifesting. I don't necessarily want to teach that anymore. So I'm so thrilled to have met you, and so happy that you're inspired to take this role on. So I would love for you to share what you're currently doing, why you're inspired to teach these classes in finance.
And I thank you, because I really believe that there's no accident that we met. There's no accident that we have a common background in finance and investment advisory. And what Beth is talking about is that I too have a background in investment advisory, my first career. Remember, I told you I came out to California, Huntington Beach, California, to learn how to surf when I was 23 years old. Well, it didn't work. I could not make that work. I was broke. I was so broke that I figured out there's no way I could make money being a surfer girl. But I had to figure out what could I do with my life. And the one thing that I needed was money. So I decided, okay, why don't I go into the money business? And at least, I'll learn about money. I'll learn the language of money. I'll learn, if I ever do have any money of my own, I'll learn what to do with it. And so those are the kinds of motivations that I had when I first made that first decision right out of college. I graduated college rather late from Cal State Long Beach. And I went right into becoming a stockbroker. So my first career started as a young stockbroker in Los Angeles, knowing nobody and nothing. I had no clue what a stock was or a bond, but there I was, boom, as a young stockbroker. And in training, in the training class, I was like the only girl and 50 men all around me, and then after you get licensed, you get thrown back into a desk and you have to get on the phone and call who? I don't know who I'm going to call, but you just have to start calling, smiling and dialing and calling. Well, this is back in the early 1970s, 1976 to be exact. And you just learn by doing. Just being thrown in the deep end of the pool helped me get the courage and discipline that it took really to just do something, talk to somebody about something as it related to money. And long story short, things began to move forward. I stayed with the major companies, the Dean Witter and Oppenheimer, for 4 years until I decided that I could go on my own. So I became one of the first women on the West Coast to open my own broker dealership and hire other women. This was a time when it was very, very difficult and rare that a woman was even hired as a stockbroker, even rarer to get promoted up the ladder. So I said, no, well, I'm not going to go up the ladder. I'm going to go outside and open my own business and then hire other women and build that business. So I did. I sold that business after, 7 or 10 years. And then became a partner manager in an investment advisory firm. So that's where we have that commonality. And in the end, I had 34 years of experience as a professional money manager, portfolio manager, executive of these companies. And at the same time, I would teach investment classes to adults. And it was a way that we got clients, to teach the investment classes. What do you do? How do you make decisions? What do you buy? How do you analyze a company? How do you make a decision? How do you create a portfolio? What do you do with your money? And these kinds of things. So I taught those classes for 15 years in that 30-year time frame. And I really, when I think back now, I retired in 2010. So I had a hiatus. Now we are fast forward 2023. And now I'm thinking, what can I do to serve? And what keeps coming back to me is, well, I have this knowledge base.
Why not a wealth of knowledge?
A wealth of knowledge. Why not serve now? And who would I love to serve? Now more than ever, I think women need a little leg up. We need a little bit more confidence. We need a little bit more understanding that we can manifest our freedom, our abundance freedom, but not just theoretically in this imaginal state, which I was talking about. That's just the beginning, but to take real world principles and to be able to learn how to, in the real world, make investment choices that create confidence for yourself so that you become an ace money manager. I think that's what women really would love. I think a lot of women are making a lot of good salaries. They're making more money than ever. We're moving up in the world where I think 35% now of all C-suite people, C-suite executives are women. Obviously, we've heard all the statistics that by the year 2035, women will control over 40% of all of the dollars that are sloshing around in this great big money world out there. So this is a time when women need to really take that empowerment. And I think that why not give an opportunity for women to come together. So I produced a what I call a financial clinic.
Okay.
You go to a medical clinic to get some
blood work done, things
blood
like
work.
that.
So why not make a financial clinic so that we can kind of look at what's not working and figure it out, but then look toward what can work. How can we build
Yeah, and the
structure?
term clinic, it sounds to me like there's work involved.
A
So
little
what,
bit, there
yeah,
is,
but in a good way, right? Because women
in a
need to
good
take
way. But for
ownership.
women to come together in a safe place
Mhm.
where they can just be with women and ask the questions that we want, that we want to ask, and not feel put down or shamed or so forth,
Mhm.
but also to be willing to do a little work.
Yeah.
Be willing to do a little work to learn what it is that you need to learn, because it is a big world out there, and in every industry there is there's a learning curve.
Right.
Every industry.
So I think that, yes, women need a safe place to be able to ask those questions without, because sometimes we haven't had that education and they start making more money and they're not even sure what questions to ask. And
Yeah.
on top of that, when you don't know something about a particular topic that maybe you think you should know more about, but it wasn't talked about in your family. So that makes it so that you don't have that confidence. So I can see where that's definitely something that would help women to have a safe place, to be able to be vulnerable, not be put down, and then as they get the knowledge, to build that confidence. Is that what you're
That's
saying?
exactly right. And, women who are making a lot of money do have money managers, advisors, just like you used to be and I used to be. And there's a big choice factor there. And I think that to empower women to be able to ask the right questions when they are in relationship with the investment advisor gives you equal playing field, rather than feeling as if, oh, what is he or she talking about, or I should just trust him what he says, or trust her what she says, because she obviously has my best interest at heart. Well, what how do you know? But I really believe that inside every woman we have more knowledge, we have more power than we think we do. We have a lot more living wisdom than we as consumers. Even if you have had any children at all, you have managed a household, and you have had budgets, and you have managed. You don't have to have managed a corporate department to understand that you have a lot of real world life living. And once we do get into a place where we have some money to invest, whether it is that we've earned it or we've inherited it or something, we want to make sure that those decisions that we're making come from confidence, so that we can really see what it is that we want to create out there in the world, and have the real kind of confidence and the freedom that matches it.
So I think what I hear you saying also is that even if someone has, say, someone has a financial advisor, or they have someone that's managing their money, this program that you're offering is still something that would be ideal for them, because it's important for them to understand, not just to give this portfolio to another person to handle, but to take some ownership of it, to take some accountability for their own understanding of what they have and of what they're accumulating, right?
That's right. And a lot of money managers, I'm sure you were like this, are teachers, and spend a lot of time to hold hands and so forth. But a lot of money managers are not like that. And so as women, I think that we deserve a place to, start getting our gumption back, and taking, if we want to manage our own monies, that's great. I'm here to empower you with a lot of real world money management expertise. If you want to have also a relationship with a professional advisor, you as an educated investor are going to be a far better partner, have a partnership with your advisor, and do more, grow your money faster in partnership. Just like in a good marriage, if both people are really having on the same alignment.
Right.
But if one person is just, totally emotional and upset and can't really be a good partner, it's no different than in any relationship. And I would say that in my courses that I'm teaching, half of the women have investment advisors. They have a lot of assets. They have investment advisors. The other half are do-it-yourselfers. They wanted more information on how to do it themselves. But the one thing they have in common that I've noticed is a desire to have that, the personal confidence that this great big world out there can be, that we can really kind of understand it a little better with just a little bit of simplicity. I love to make the complex simple, and just, go for the things that we need to concentrate on. And in doing that, I'm wanting to protect women also from being sold.
Yes.
So the one thing I am doing is a total education only.
Right.
This is not a setup to be sold.
Yes.
Or to have an affiliation with a back-end company that, no, I'm wanting this to truly be educational and empowering, so that women can feel like, yeah, I deserve this. We have a financial literacy movement in this country that's getting traction. And yet they don't even begin. They don't really begin to get into the investing field.
True. And I totally agree, because as a former financial advisor, it's what people don't know, right? So I was the financial advisor that was a teacher, because I had been a teacher for over 20 years.
Right.
And I was completely honest with people. And just as a real quick example, people don't understand generally that there are many different kinds of financial advisors. So that's just the first layer of understanding. And it's okay to not understand or even know what questions to ask, because you don't. So it takes someone that is like Lynn, who isn't affiliated with a particular company. Her heart's in it to provide education. So that's another reason why I wanted to have her on here. So what I can do is I can help people manifest money. And Lynn, what you can do is to help educate them with what to do with their money. I love that.
And and have your money work then for you.
Right. In whatever way that shows up for you.
Correct.
So a couple of ending questions is that, where is the next workshop that you're providing, and how can people find you?
Thank you so much. Oh, I do provide every other month a free workshop. So it's a 3-day online free workshop. I really give kind of an overview of what the financial clinic is like, what you'll learn inside the financial clinic. And I kind of open the curtains and give you a sneak peek inside the financial clinic, and a lot of what ifs. So over 3 days, it's only 1 hour a day for 3 days. And we're going to start that October 15th, 16th, and 17th. So that's really 6 weeks away now. But you are invited to go ahead and register now. So I have a little button on my website, and it's very easy to go there now and just at least get registered. Since you're hearing me now, don't wait. We'll go ahead and register you now. And then as the time comes forward, you'll be receiving all of the reminders and so forth from me. So it's a 3-day free workshop online. And all you need to do is go to my website, which is lynnekitchen.com. Lynn is spelled Lynn. E, my middle initial, stands for Elizabeth. And then kitchen, Kitchen. So lynnekitchen.com. As soon as you open on the front page, there's going to be 2 buttons right up on top. One says register for the free workshop. Click that button. It'll take you to the right page. Opt in there. You're good to go.
Awesome. Thank you for making it so easy for
Good.
people. And I love the idea of having this free workshop. They can get an idea of what you're presenting, get more of an idea of how you present. I mean, all of these things are really important for teachers and for learners. So with that, I just want to ask you a couple final questions.
Sure.
One, what is a favorite book that you've read that has, and it can be anything. It can be a
I
favorite book,
got
or
it.
it can be a perfect, a manifesting book, if you will.
All right. It was just introduced to me recently. I love it. It's called Stillness is the Key by Ryan Holiday. And I actually purchased it in the auditory, the Audible, so that I could hear. Ryan actually does the speaking of the Audible book himself. And that speaking word is so powerful. So the concept of stillness being the key is that underlying piece. We began to speak about when people get so busy, doing, and to come back to center, to take that time to be. He has some amazing tools on stillness as a mindset, so that you begin, and I think that you teach this too, Beth, but this book in particular has just a little bit different way of saying the same thing, and in such a way that it really did help me. I just listened to it about 2 weeks ago, and I'm still on fire with it.
Wow, it's so much fun when we listen to something new and we hear a similar message in a new way. So thank you for sharing that book. That's amazing. Any last words, anything that you would like to share?
Well, I just want to say thank you again, Beth, for providing this opportunity for your listeners to, to not only, you said that this was something new that you're doing, the interviewing. So I want to just commend you for that. And isn't it fun to have conversations? So to be able to collaborate, here we are, having had a lot of the similarities in backgrounds and so forth, we're collaborating. And the thing that does, I believe, for everyone is elevate our awareness, our consciousness. And it's exciting to meet new people, to have interesting conversations, to learn more, to be, in my love for teaching, your love for teaching, these kinds of common denominators and feel good, and we all rise as a result. So I want to thank you for the opportunity to share, and also just to connect on a deeper level with you.
Yes, absolutely. And thank you for being here. And so if you were inspired to take an action today, I certainly hope so. That was my intention. Whether it's paying attention to whether you're being and taking time to be in the present now, or perhaps it's rethinking, what does using your imagination mean for you? So take some time to play, think about what it is that you want to manifest, and have a great time, because I truly know that you can manifest whatever it is that you desire. All right. Thank you so much, Lynn.